Hi everyone! I hope you're all having a beautiful weekend. I am here today actually to announce something that I'm pretty excited about. So I just got guidance from my team last night that they're wanting me to start doing weekly tarot and oracle card readings. So that's going to be different than the energy reports that I've been doing, and we are still going to have those, but on a more regular basis, on this weekly basis. We're going to be having just the card pulls that don't have all the narrative that goes with the energy reports. So these should be simpler and shorter, and they're just going to be focused on the energy, the theme, all of that for a particular week. So I'm going to work on getting those out every Sunday. Bear with me while I try to establish some sort of routine there, okay? So the last thing that I want to announce with that is that there's going to be 3 different kinds. So we're going to have one card pull that's for the collective as a whole, and then 2 card pulls for the twin flame community. So one video will be geared towards the first wave twin flames, and then one video will be geared towards the second and third wave twin flames. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this reading, and this is the general reading for the collective as a whole. Alright, so when I asked what the theme is going to be for this week, Kuan Yin gave us the Turquoise Lotus Mother. So this card is telling us that we have a karmic cycle or pattern or a relationship that's in its final death throes. It's time for us to move forward from that. And I know for those of you who watched my last video and have been watching my videos, karma keeps coming up. And from all of the cards that I pulled today for this reading, it's still a very prominent theme, probably more so than it has been in all of the videos that I've done so far. So with the Turquoise Lotus Mother, what the Divine is telling us, what Kuan Yin is telling us, is that we have learned everything that we need to learn from this cycle or pattern or relationship that's karmic. And we don't need to stay in that situation anymore. We're having an opportunity now to be lifted out of it because we have learned everything that we needed from it. And that message is also mirrored in the next card that we got, the Dance of the Butterfly Queen. Because this card is talking about that karma and about how we're getting the opportunity to be lifted out of that situation. But it's also telling us, even if it seems impossible, it is not. We are being provided, have been for a while now, been getting opportunities, having new people brought into our lives, new circumstances. We've been moving further forward in our awakening. We've been really integrating everything that we've learned so far and integrating all of the different facets of ourselves. And so what maybe used to be impossible from where we were at is no longer impossible because we learned everything that we needed to, and along that path where we were learning everything, we acquired all of these skills and this knowledge and everything that we needed to extricate ourselves from these situations, because these situations were there to help us get to this point in our growth. So the Divine is also saying with both of these cards that essentially what's keeping us stuck in these situations now is us. We're getting in our own way because we're so used to these patterns and cycles and relationships that we kind of feel like they're always going to be there because we've been dealing with them for so long. We've been in them up to our eyeballs for so long, and we're just so used to it. It's become habitual for us. And we're not seeing how we're having the opportunity now to step away from it. We're seeing these challenges and we're thinking, okay, this is making it impossible for me to get out of this situation. But actually, most of those challenges are there to help us get out of the situation. They're pushing us to get out of the situation. And that's what the Divine is trying to tell us. Flow with it. Don't try to force things. Just accept that you've learned everything that you need to, and allow help from outside. Not only help from the Divine, but also help from friends, your tribe, the people that you've been accruing around you that are supposed to be there with you as you continue along your journey into this next era of your life. So utilize everything that's coming to you, all of these new energies and people and circumstances, to remove yourself from these karmic situations that are no longer serving your highest good. You are not stuck anymore, and if you believe you're stuck, it's because you believe you're stuck. It's not because you actually are. We just need to shift our perspective to see these challenges as opportunities instead of the other way around, okay? So I asked what we can kind of do to ground that into reality. So we got lots of cards for that. So I'm going to start with the Isis cards. And the first one that we got is Portal of Light. And this card ties perfectly into those Kuan Yin cards, because what it's telling us is that we're having the opportunity now, because of everything that we've learned, all of the wisdom that we've acquired, all of that stuff, we're having the opportunity now to leave the past in the past. We're at a point now where if we open our eyes and look, we can see that the past only has as much power over us as we believe it does. And when I'm saying the past, I don't just mean things that happened 20 years ago. I'm talking about those things from our past that we're still holding on to in our present time. So that can be relationships that have gone on way longer than they were intended to. That can be business situations that we're stuck in. It can be friendships that are no longer serving us, but we keep holding on to them. It can even be family related. Not everybody is meant to stay in your life forever, and not every situation that we're in is supposed to last forever. Change is a universal law. It's just part of life. It's part of existence. So the Portal of Light is telling us we have everything that we need now from those situations, and everything that we need now within ourselves to heal what needs to be healed and let go of it. Resolve anything that is still, where you still have loose ends, and then move forward from there. Not only for yourself, but for other people. But it starts with you. It starts with you acknowledging your own power and acknowledging everything that you've learned, so that you can utilize all of those tools to move forward in your life. And then once you have done that, or during the process of doing that, moving forward in your life, you're also helping other people to heal those things too. Because when we release those karmic situations and we do it from a place of compassion, that allows for them to heal and move forward as well. So it's very much a healing card that has to do with karma and leaving the past in the past. And Isis is also giving us the Knot of Isis, which is a gift from her. It is a tool that we use to stabilize our energy. So it gives us the opportunity. It's basically like this protection that is around our energy field, like this little bubble of protection that's around our energy field from the divine. And what it allows is for us to fall apart without completely falling apart. So everything is still contained. So we can dig through things and look at things and just kind of really scrutinize where we're at in our lives and experience the pains and the heartbreaks and all of that, of knowing, and the frustrations too, of knowing that our old way of being, our old way of life is dying and it's time for us to move forward. That's not always a happy feeling. There's usually heartache that goes with that. And so with the Knot of Isis, it is a protective bubble of sorts that contains our energy field so that we can fall apart in the ways that we need to, so that we can really stabilize and build ourselves up. And then she's also telling us through the Divine Sisterhood card to let your friends be part of this process for you. The ones that you know are going to be moving forward with you on your path. They could be new friends, they could even be old friends, they could be old friends that just recently re-entered your life, but you're having all of these people that are starting to collect around you. And if you haven't yet, don't worry, you will. So these people that are collecting around you, they're there to help you with your process, and you're going to be helping them with theirs too, because this is an overall theme. Everyone's dealing with this karmic stuff. So by working with your tribe, because that's what you've been doing, you've been kind of collecting your little village around you, and everybody plays their part, and we all support each other, and we're all there for each other, and we're all contributing to the greater good. So the divine is telling us to allow these people to help us, to help uplift our energy, to help us in tangible ways, to get ourselves out of situations. But let them be part of that for you, and you be part of that for them too, because that's also part of the healing process that helps us really move forward into a better way of life, okay? And then we also pulled some cards from the Medicine card deck. And the first card that we get is Black Panther. And Black Panther is about the void. It is about walking into the unknown, not knowing where you're going to end up, who you're going to be, who's going to be around you. It's a scary process, but it's in that void that creativity happens. And I talked about this in one of my videos before. So Black Panther showing up for us right now is telling us that it is time for us to walk into that unknown, because we have all of these amazing things that are waiting for us, but we have to let go of what we've been holding on to, and we have to really step forward with faith that we're headed someplace better. And that process includes butterfly, which is pretty self-explanatory, I think, for most people. It's all about transformation, and that's why we have to walk into the void, because we're going through this transformation, and in order to do that, we have to let go of the past. We have to let go of the karmic cycles, patterns, and relationships that are keeping us stuck where we're at. We cannot walk into that void and start creating if we're trying to carry all this baggage with us. We just can't do it. So allow that transformation to take place. Trust. Walk into the unknown knowing that you are going to be safe, because you are transforming. You are going through a beautiful metamorphosis, and you're going to come out so much stronger and happier on the other side of it. All right? And as we're preparing to do that, as we're preparing to walk into the void, we get Mouse, which is all about the details. This is all about really taking a close look at our lives, really scrutinizing everything about our lives to discover what it is that we really do need to leave behind, and what we're going to be taking with us, what's useful for us in this process, and what no longer serves any purpose for us. It's also about taking a look at all of the details that are going to be involved in extricating yourself from these karmic situations, whether that's stepping away from a business, leaving a friendship, leaving a job, leaving a romantic relationship, leaving behind toxic members of your family. There's a process for a lot of those things. It's not always easy to do that. So part of scrutinizing things is also a degree of planning. So think about the details. Don't get so wrapped up in the details that you start feeling like hopeless, but take a close look at the details so that you can figure out exactly what you're going to need to do to remove yourself from these situations and move forward, okay? And then we get Crow. And Crow is all about universal law. Not the laws made by man, but universal law. So that's the law of karma. Doing everything for the highest good, coming from a place of compassion. Because if you're not able to leave these situations from a place of compassion, you're still going to be holding on to the grudges, and that's part of holding on to the karma. So do things the right way. Do things in a way that's for the highest good of all. And really be discerning about what is for the highest good, because sometimes we think we're helping people by staying in their lives, and we're not. We're holding them back, just as that relationship with them is holding us back. So take a look at that and really figure out what's for the highest good, and do that. Be ethical, act with integrity, and act with compassion. And the other thing that Crow teaches us is that we are infinite beings. Time is not linear. It isn't a thing, really. And with our intuition, we have the ability to really see through time. It's an illusion. So Crow has the capacity to see the past, the present, and the future all at once. And we have that too. And that's what Crow is trying to tell us, is we have the ability to do that. So stop being so stuck in the past or stuck in the present. Stop fearing the future. Recognize that you have the ability to get a broad view scope of all aspects, the past, the present, and the future, and make a wise choice based on that. All right, so then we get into the tarot cards here. So when I ask what's the theme here, what are we working on? What do we need to focus on this week? So the first card that we get is the Queen of Cups. And what this is asking us is to really step into our emotions, okay? I know that can be an uncomfortable process, especially when we've been purging stuff for a while anyway. But step into your emotions, because what we're needing to do is balance within those emotions. The Queen of Cups is all about emotional balance. She is kind, she is compassionate, she is very balanced in her emotional state. She's she can make wise decisions from a place of love and compassion. So when you do need to remove yourself from karmic situations, you don't have to be a jerk about it. You can leave these situations with love and with compassion, and leave them with a parting gift to nourish them. In this card, she's offering water. Okay, and in this situation, I feel like that's cleansing water to these karmic situations. We're allowing everything to be washed away. All of the grudges, all of the hurt, all of the anger, all of that stuff, we're walking away with love, and we're walking away with compassion. And the parting gift that we leave for them is the same cleansing that we're taking ourselves through. And we also get the Two of Swords that goes along with that. So we have known for a while that we need to make these decisions about what we're going to be doing with our lives, and who's coming with us and who's not, and where we're going to be living, what jobs we're going to have. We've known for a while that we've needed to make these choices, but the universe is really pushing us now. We are really moving into a new era, and not in small ways. I mean a completely new era, not just in our personal lives, but as a society, as this global community. The paradigm is shifting. It's changing big time. So this is a time we really need to make decisions about where we're going and what we need to leave behind, what needs to come with us. We need to make those decisions, and we've been avoiding doing that, but we can't do that anymore. It's not healthy for us, and we're going to get to a point where the universe literally will not allow us to not make a decision. If we refuse to make a decision, the universe will eventually give you a big old shove to force you into making a choice. So make that choice now before you get forced to, essentially, because sooner or later you have to. The universe is, one of those universal laws is change. It's going to happen. Make it as painless as possible by doing it voluntarily. And it's coming up with the Queen of Cups because it's telling you to make that choice from a balanced and compassionate place. All right. So the next card that we get is the Hermit in reversed, and this is kind of like where we've been at, okay? So it's going to go either one of two ways, because the Hermit is all about going within. So with the Hermit being reversed, either we have been avoiding going within because we haven't wanted to deal with what's inside, the shadows inside us, or it's that we've been going too far in and we feel extra stuck now. So if you've been doing either of those things, we're being told now that we've got to like take a step back or take a step in, depending on which extreme you went to. So if you've been diving too deep and getting yourself in a spot where you feel really hopeless, take a step back, take a breather, look at everything again from that bigger picture perspective. And if you haven't been doing your work, if you have been trying to avoid dealing with these things you have to internally, it's time for you to really step up to the plate and just deal with it. And you'll be so much better off once you do. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, sometimes it's really miserable, but there's always a payoff. And that payoff is that we come out with more clarity and more balance. Okay, and with the Hermit reversed, we also get the Ten of Wands reversed. All right. So this is the completion of a cycle. All right, and the Ten of Wands is all about feeling like we're under this heavy load, this heavy burden, and that we just keep trying to trudge along with it, and it's just too much. So this ties into that karma too. It's time to set it down. Okay, it's really just time to set down this load. You're trying to carry everything with you from all the cycles before, and you don't need to. It is unnecessarily just causing you more problems. It's too heavy of a burden for you to carry. You don't need to. And you don't have to prove to anybody that you can. Not even yourself. Not the divine. Nobody's asking you to. The divine is asking you to set it down. Your higher self is asking you to set it down so that you can walk forward with the ability to just breathe and move freely and explore what's coming next without always feeling so burdened and bogged down by all the baggage you're carrying. All right, so get out, either get out of your inner cave if you've been going too deep, or really step in and do the work if you've been avoiding it, because it's time for us to set down these burdens. It's time for us to end these karmic cycles, patterns, and relationships so that we can move forward. But you have to do the inner work first in order to be able to do that. All right, the next card that we get is the Knight of Wands reversed. Okay, so this also is where we've been. This is what we've been doing. So either, again, goes one of two ways here. So the Knight of Wands, when it's upright, is about taking swift action. It's feeling confident, taking swift action, maybe even a little bit reckless, but actually moving. So with the Knight of Wands reversed, either you've not been moving, you've like not been trying to move forward, or maybe you've been like just ramming your head into the same wall over and over and over because you're so caught up in the emotion of it, in the fire of it, in the challenge, you know, if it's fights that you're having with people, stuff like that, or just depression that you can't seem to get out of. You've been just ramming your head into the same wall over and over and over because you're not stopping to just like take a step back and see, okay, is there a way around this wall? Like, can I scale this wall? Is there another way to get through this particular obstacle? So if you've been doing that, stop. And if you have been stuck because you don't want to move, because you're scared to move, it's time to start moving. And what we're aiming for here is the King of Pentacles. Okay, so with the Pentacles are all about kind of earth energy and grounding things into this 3D reality. And the King of Pentacles is like the master of this, okay? He has mastered the ability to manifest into the physical world what he's wanting to manifest for himself. He's not quite the magician, but he is good at making things happen on a tangible level. So it's time for us to really start making things happen on a tangible level. So if you've been running your head into the same wall over and over again, take a step back, strategize, think things through. Don't be so caught in the emotions of it, because King of Pentacles is not super emotional, okay? So really take a step back, look at things more logically, all right, and make a decision from there, but you're grounding it into reality. The King of Swords is also not super emotional, but he's more thought-oriented. That would be more like a new perspective. With the King of Pentacles, this is about really making something tangible and real. So stop slamming your head against the wall for no reason, and if you've been afraid of moving, it's time to start moving, and trust yourself that you'll be able to make things happen. Okay? Become the King of Pentacles. You already have that capacity within you. So focus in on that and really start making things happen. You have the ability to manifest things into your reality. Okay? All right, and the next card that we get is the Star. All right? So the divine here is just telling us, do not lose hope. Don't lose faith that you're going to be able to get through this. You are heading towards something really beautiful. You are heading toward a new way of life. And it's time for us to actually do that and not be afraid that we're going to get stuck. Not be afraid of hurting people. Not being afraid of all of the consequences. Because if you're making these decisions from a place of compassion and love and balance, and being able to have that big picture view, you're not going to screw this up. Keep your faith. Keep the broad perspective. You know, with the stars, we're also, like, think about when you look up at the stars at night, especially if you haven't really been able to see them for a while. You know, you live in the city and you go way out to the country and you see the stars and you realize just how expansive this universe is and how small we really are. These problems are really not that big. We keep making mountains out of molehills and we don't need to. So really broaden your perspective and keep the faith alive because you're headed someplace so much better. Yeah, you've still got some work left to do, but this is not a time to lose faith. This is a time to keep going forward, keep working at it because you're making progress even if you don't feel like it yet. All right? And then we get the Eight of Wands, which is, rapid movement, it's communication, it's travel. So that could apply to all sorts of different things. If you've been feeling like it's time for you to relocate to a new place or to a different job, then do that. If you've been feeling like you need to communicate with somebody about something that's important, whether that's, telling somebody that you have feelings for them, or telling somebody that, you just don't feel like this is right for you anymore and you feel like the relationship with them needs to end. It's about actually taking action and doing it now, okay? If you've done your work and you can be balanced, then do it now. Don't feel like you are stuck in karma when you are not actually stuck there, okay? These situations are not impossible to pull yourself out of, and chances are you have been doing the work, okay? But you've been feeling stuck now because you think that you're still being controlled by these karmic situations, and you are not. So take a look at yourself again, all right? Realize how far you've come, and then take action. Communicate, make those moves, shift things around in your life. It's time for you to, all right? And the reason why we're really focused on these things this week, okay, is the Seven of Wands, all right? We're basically fighting right now to continue forward. We made it to the top of the mountain, and we're, all of these things are still challenging us, these people and all of that, it's still challenging us, and we feel like we have to keep struggling. We've been struggling for a long time, but now we're struggling unnecessarily, but we're fighting right now for the right to be who we want to be and to do what we want to do. So the divine is basically, with this card, they're saying, okay, you've been struggling, you're still struggling right now, you're fighting the fight of your life right now, or at least for this era of your life, as you're making a shift and a transition into a new space. And with tying back into the Kuan Yin cards and that Portal of Light card, and even the Divine Sisterhood card, you have help. You have the ability to be removed from the situation. So ask for help. Ask for help from the divine. Ask for help from your friends. Trust the process, and you will be lifted out of this struggle. You don't have to struggle anymore. You don't have to fight anymore, and you don't have to stay stuck anymore. All right. And we get a little bit of like a faith push towards the end here, because we have the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is looking at where you've been and at everything that you've accomplished, and realizing that you are so close to moving forward in a really meaningful way. You are so close to achieving your goals. Do not get so stuck in the challenges that you see that you can't move forward. You are super close. And what are you close to? You are close to the Ace of Pentacles, a new start in a very real, tangible way. Now that may have to do with money, or professional stuff, things like that. But I feel like this card is saying on a broader scope that we're moving into the opportunity to ground what we want for ourselves into reality, to really create that new start in a very real, tangible, realistic way. All right? So that is the weekly card pull that we have for the general collective. I hope you enjoyed it and you got some insight out of it. I will see you again next time. Have a beautiful week and keep at it, all right?